How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with yet another review. A little bit of Imperial Stout time. Russian, mind you. In the form of Icarus Brewing's Vlad to be here. Russian Imperial Stout. I picked up a 4-pack of this. And I was going to review it. But then I ended up sending off a couple of cans of these to friends and whatnot. And I was down to 1 can. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I want to drink this beer. I don't want to review it. So I drank it. And I had none left. And like 2 days later, a package shows up from Gordon from Jersey. Thank you very much, brother. And this was in there. It was meant to be. I now have to review it. It's like the beer is just screaming at me to be reviewed. Here we go. Glad to be here. Russian Imperial Stout, 14.5% alcohol by volume. Okay, buckle up. It's a Russian Imperial Stout brewed with wildflower honey and brown sugar, and conditioned on cinnamon, Mexican coffee, and Madagascar vanilla beans. Label-wise, it's kind of your, flash art. And I forget the date on this. It's about 2 months old. It's 1/3, it looks like, maybe. 1/3/19, maybe. 2/3/19. I don't know. It's about a month and a half old, give or take. We'll see what's what. So, label-wise, it's aight. Beer-wise, I've had it before. You know this. So let's see what she's got. Yeah, see the castle kind of looks like, I don't know, South Park kind of art. Yeah, she looks like a big, huge stout. Rich, just south of where I like my coffee to look like color head. Super tight compact bubbles. Nice creaminess up on top. And she be dark. She looks like a big, huge, rich, deep, dark. An adjective-laden Imperial Stout. That's what she looks like. I love it when I don't pour too much so I can get a little aggressive with that swirl. So, yeah. Look at that. Let's get a nose. Yeah. I mean, it's just... You get like this sugar component, this chocolate component, this almost like rich... I have talked about this in the past. This kind of adult kind of chocolate bar kind of thing. A score bar element to it. So the chocolate's in there. You're getting a sweetness from the honey, but not over the top. You get like almost like a maple syrup kind of vibe from it more than anything else. So yeah, vanilla, chocolate, maple syrup, brown sugar. What did they say? I forgot exactly what was in here. Wildflower, honey, brown sugar, conditioned on cinnamon. I don't get the cinnamon. Coffee, yes, you get the coffee. I didn't even talk about that, but it's not huge in your face. I lie, it's there. I just didn't talk about it. But to me, it comes off more maple syrup like than anything else. That's probably your brown sugar and your honey at work there, kind of just joining together and kind of coming up with maple syrup. But yeah, the coffee's definitely there. I totally didn't talk about that one because I got a little carried away from myself, though. Hopefully would have got there without looking on the label, but she smells rich and big. It's your Russian Imperial Stout. You expect a little bit more bitterness in there. She smells like a big, huge Imperial Stout. Maybe they just wanted to call it Vlad to be here for a catchy name. I don't know, but we're going to dive in. See what she tastes like. Cheers. That's a Russian Imperial Stout. Big, huge bittering on it. I believe you're getting bittering from the hops, bittering from the roasted malts. It doesn't get overly sweet here. Could be a couple of different things at play. That honey could be tempering a bit of that sweetness. The enzyme they use in brewed IPAs that kind of keep beers from being overly sweet that naturally exist in honey, so that could be kind of driving down that kind of sweetness. But it does have that soft kind of buttery thing I get from honey-based beers too. That maple syrup thing has washed away. It's not there in the taste. While it's there in the nose, it's not there in the taste. What I'm left with is the soft kind of spicy blackstrap molasses kind of vibe. That's nice. It's got a rich, nice mouthfeel to it. It's way more bittering than you expect, especially based off of the nose, which makes it never get out in left field as far as sweetness goes. It's a sweet beer, but there's enough bittering there, both from a hop and malt component, to kind of add a little bit of balance to it, so it doesn't just get out in left field. Yeah, I like it. I think it's tasty. I think it's delicious. I think it's impactful. There's a lot of moving parts. That's probably the biggest knock I'd give it. Not necessarily there's a lot of moving parts, but each individual part does taste individual. There's not a kind of melding, cohesive component to it. I don't mean to knock it in that sense. It's just if all those things kind of were harmonic and kind of blended into each other, it would be, I think, a much more pleasurable beer. That being said, in today's world, in today's pastry stout world of people wanting impact and flavor, I think this is probably one of the better stouts you can get that's non-barrel aged. It's explosive. It's in your face. It's giving you all those flavors. I just want a little bit of. I want a smooth ride. I don't want a herky jerky kind of zigzaggy kind of flavor left and right, running around, bonkers, craziness, adjective laden movement kind of beer. I want a little bit of softness, a little bit of, even though it's a hair on fire beer with its ABV and what's going on, I want a little bit more kind of flowing from flavor to flavor. That's the biggest knock I would give it. But again, it's not that much of a knock because I feel like that kind of herky-jerky hair on fire thing is a fun way to go too. I think it's delicious. How about we put it that way? I just know. I want to try this like months old. I know I'm not going to have it months old. Actually, it's like 2 months old. Technically, it's months old. But I like to try this with like a 6 months to a year on it to see where it kind of ends up. Because I think this could turn into something like creepily, fantastically smooth. It's just a little bit too, I don't want to say hot as in hot booze-wise, but a little bit hot as far as like the way the flavors present themselves. And I think it could smooth itself out. And that would be a really cool thing. So I'm going to have to track down another can. There we go. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better Russian Imperial Stouts? Should we go there? I don't think we should. One of the better adjunct-laden, higher ABV stouts? That probably makes more sense. That I've had as of late. Definitely worthy of being in the conversation. I've had ones that work better for me. That are a little bit more kind of cohesive, I guess you would say, with the flavors kind of working with how much stuff is going on in this beer. It's pretty damn fun stuff. And I try not to talk about it in a way that's kind of negative with those kind of herky-jerkiness. Man, I like saying herky-jerky tonight, don't I? But, yeah, I like it. I dig it. It's fun. And I think it's going to have legs because I remember having this about a month ago, and I had the same impression drinking it then. So I don't think it's going to let off anytime soon. Value and availability. I forget what I paid for it. I don't think it was that much. I think it was less than $20 for a 4-pack. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like big, huge stouts and you like the pastry version of the world, but you don't want things to get too sweet. It's sweet, but definitely not way too sweet. It definitely has a lot of explosive flavor going on. So if you like flavor in your face, 2x4s to the Face, son, this will do it for you. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. My sneaker. Is that annoying? Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the podcasting stuff. I interviewed Jason from Icarus. You can go check it out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Icarus beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.